welcome to week 2 of quarantine. We've got lots to cover today, so let's jump in.
Not used to this. I don't know how to act, don't know how to adapt to this situation. Not used to this, no I'm not.
Yes, it's week 2 of quarantine and the routines are starting to take shape. We've been able to figure out how to feed 3 children, 3 dogs and 2 cats and various other members of the wildlife kingdom, and things are starting to get a little bit easier, and I was even able to get a haircut. But of course, in these difficult times, I feel it's important that somebody, namely me, puts together some content to help you get through this difficult time. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the next few weeks, at least, is trying to put out some more regular content all about how to come up with book ideas, get them written, get them published, get them marketed as quickly as possible, so you can make the best use of this self-isolation situation and hopefully get some great work out there. So if you'd like to get those videos, just make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, or like the video, leave a comment, interact with it in some way, and YouTube will recommend more videos just like this one, as well as letting you know when a new one of mine is ready. So hit those buttons and I will also see you in the comments box. Now, today's topic, we're going to be talking all about numbers, and this is important because whenever you're starting a publishing project or a new series or a new book, it's very important to know just where you're going with it. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about the numbers behind hitting specific revenue goals. We can meet some of today's co-stars. Right, let's go. So today's topic is particularly important because I'm looking at the microphone. So today's topic is particularly important because I get a lot of questions from people asking about how to get to a certain point with their sales, and whether that number is $100 a month, $1,000 a month, or $10,000 a month, or whatever it might be. Getting to that revenue goal involves understanding your numbers, and understanding your numbers means you know exactly what to do each day to hit your revenue target. So let me explain. Now, it is a little bit windy out here in the garden, if you can call it that. It's become kind of overgrown, so we're going to go and try and find somewhere a little bit less noisy. Alright, this'll do. Alright, so that's a bit better. It is going to rain any moment, so we may have to dash inside. But back to this idea of understanding your numbers. Now, best way of thinking about this is if you have a revenue goal in mind, let's say $1,000 a month, that gives you a roadmap, or at least a destination for you to get to, and understanding what numbers are involved along the way is going to help get you there faster. So let me elaborate a little bit. So if you want to make $1,000 a month from book sales, and each of your books earned you about $3.50, you need to sell about 10 copies a day to hit $1,000 a month. Now, if the conversion rate on your Amazon Books page or your iBooks page or whatever store it is, let's say your conversion rate is 10%, to sell 10 copies you need to have 100 clicks, because 1 in every 10 clicks is going to result in a sale. So that's 100 clicks a day if you just have the one book. But this is where it gets a little bit more interesting, because if you have multiple books, then people will often move on to other books in your series or your catalogue, and we call this read through. So instead of just selling one book and then you're done, the reader never comes back, the reader is likely to go on to buy more from you in the future. And this is something we call read-through rate. And if your read-through rate is, for example, 2, so for every copy of book 1 that you sell, you will sell 1 more book of your catalogue on average, then you don't need to sell 10 copies a day, you only need to sell 5, because each reader who buys your book for the first time is going to go on to read a subsequent book from you as well. So those 100 clicks a day suddenly become only 50 clicks a day, which is, of course, only half as much effort. Now let's say you have maybe 7 or 8, maybe even 10 books, and your read-through rate is on average 3. Now, instead of needing 100 clicks a day, converting at 10% to get you 10 sales, you only need 33 clicks a day converting at 10% to give you 3 and a bit sales, which will then go on to equal, in time, 10 copies per day. So the answer to the question, how do I get to X dollars per month in book sales, is a slightly difficult one to answer in the broad sense, because you have to understand your numbers. So that's going to depend on what genres you write in, whether you write in a series, whether you write cliffhangers, whether you have any sort of marketing or email marketing in place to help guide people from book 1 to the other books in your catalogue. And the better you get at this, the easier it's going to be to get that read-through rate number higher, which means that you need fewer clicks to hit your revenue goal. So, of course, the question then becomes, how do I get those clicks? Now, I'll be covering that in much more detail in subsequent videos, so make sure you hit the subscribe button if you'd like to get those. But for today, let's take a quick look at the options. All right. So, we made it inside. We beat the rain. 2 problems now. I have to angle the camera in such a way that you can't see the hideous mess that is my office, and find some way of blocking out the sound of the people cutting down trees outside my window, which is perfect timing. So bear with me. Let's find somewhere to shoot. All right, I think we found somewhere to film the rest of this spare bedroom, complete with plain walls and a very slightly out of focus fireplace.
What's he gonna do next?
I had shot this entire thing downstairs in the office, but then a box fell on my head and 3 screaming children came in. Such as the joys of self-isolation. But there you go, the world keeps on turning. So as we mentioned in the previous segment, working out what you need to do on a daily basis depends entirely on your revenue goals. So it all comes down to clicks at the end of the day. If you want to sell a certain number of books to hit a certain revenue goal, you're going to need a certain number of clicks. And the number of clicks you need depends on how high your conversion rate is and how high your read-through rate is. So the better those 2 things are, the easier it's going to be for you. But whatever stage you're at, whatever your numbers might be, you are going to need traffic. You are going to need those clicks. And there's 3 particular things that I like to focus on and recommend to anyone who's starting out as things that you really need to think about and plan into your marketing. And the first one is, especially for beginners, a great way of getting free traffic that's high quality traffic without having to pay anything, and that's perma-free. So the idea of this is having a single book in your series or your catalog that is permanently free on Amazon and iBooks and all the other stores. And with free downloads, you're often getting 50 to 100 times more downloads than you would do if the book was paid, and that's a lot of traffic. And the value is in the traffic, because if we've done our job right, then people are going to be moving from that free book to your subsequent paid titles in your catalog. So having a permanently free book is an incredible way of getting lots of extra eyeballs on your work for essentially free. I mean, you have to put the budget into creating the book in the first place, and you will occasionally need to promote it, but generally speaking, you're going to be getting clicks and downloads and people moving through to your subsequent books 24/7. So it's a particularly powerful thing for beginners to try when you don't have a big advertising budget. Perma-free is very simple and it's very straightforward and it's very easy to get going. And again, I'm going to put some links and some resources underneath this video if you need some help or advice or tips on anything we're covering in this video. And the next way of getting clicks, and this is kind of for more of the advanced people, this is something to aim towards down the line, is paid advertising. So in particular, advertising like Amazon ads and Facebook ads and BookBub self-serve ads as well. So essentially you're paying for each click that is getting sent through to your books. And again, this is why it's so important to understand your numbers, because each click is going to cost you something. It might be 20 cents, it might be 50 cents, 60 cents, it might be $1 in some cases. But if you know exactly how much you're likely to earn from that click, so again, if you understand your conversion rate and your read-through rate, you're gonna have a pretty good idea of how much money each click is going to make you. So if you can figure that out, your earnings per click from the numbers exercise we talked about earlier, you know exactly how much you can spend on advertising clicks. So if you're making an average of 70 cents per click, but advertising clicks are only costing you 40 cents per click, then you're making a very good profit. But again, this does require that you understand your numbers and have the catalog to support it. So for anyone who's just getting started, maybe you're working on your first book or you've got 1 or 2 books out there, chances are the read-through rate is not going to be high enough to do advertising at a large scale. So by all means, you can try advertising to get a few clicks through, to get a few extra sales. But if you're looking to be getting hundreds or even thousands of clicks per day from paid ads, it's going to be quite difficult to make that profitable unless you really understand those numbers and have them as high as possible. So we have a strategy for the beginners and we have a strategy for the more advanced authors. And in the middle is something that I particularly like doing, which is joint promotions. And this is great for anyone, regardless of what level you're at. And really the basic principle of this is team up with 2, 3, 4 or more other authors in the same genre with a similar sized audience, club together and email each other's email list about your book. So you do need to have an email list. It doesn't have to be a huge one, but you are going to need something. And if you're using Permafree and Reader Magnets together, again, links in the description if you need help with any of that stuff, then chances are you are going to be having an email list growing for you in the background. And even if you've got like 50 or 100 people on your email list and you're just getting started, if you can find 4 other people to collaborate with and do joint promotions with, then you're going to have an audience there of 500 people that you can get instant access to. And this is the same whatever stage you're at. I mean, people who have 100,000 people on their email list, they can team up with others, 5 or 6 other people. How about launching your next book to 500,000 or 1 million people on launch day? And that's exactly where we want to get to with this. So joint promotions are great, whatever stage you're at, and sites like BookFunnel and ProlificWorks and our very own Dream Team Network can help you get started very easily. Again, links underneath the video if you need them. So the goal of this video was really to give you a quick rundown of some of the things to focus on when planning out your marketing for the rest of the year. And seeing as a lot of us are stuck at home, hopefully we're going to have a bit more time to really plan through this, unless you're like me and you have 3 screaming kids, 3 yappy dogs and various other strange pieces of wildlife roaming the house. But it is what it is, life goes on and we all have things to be getting on with. So hopefully today's video has helped give you a bit more of a roadmap of where to get to. And in subsequent videos, we're going to be breaking down each of these individual things in more detail. So if you'd like to get hold of those videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. And if you're interested in more content like this, then make sure you leave a comment, a like, or a share, and YouTube will recommend similar videos to mine. Of course, they won't be as good, but they will cover similar topics. So if you're interested in today's topic, then please make sure you interact in some way, and then YouTube will know exactly what to show you next time. I'd also love to see you in the comments section as well. Please let me know what you're doing to pass the time if you're stuck inside, and if you have any suggestions, questions, or topics for future videos, drop them in the comments as well. But that's it from me for today, and I'll see you all again very soon. I'm just about to head off on my government-approved trip to the shops, and I have a list somewhere. Yes, spoiler alert, it's mostly tequila. Whatever you gotta do to get through it, stay healthy. Not that I'm saying you should drink too much. There's like carrots on the list as well. Carrots and tequila. Survival kit.